Welcome back to the On Time Professional Lovers channel. I'm Al,
I'm Patty, and we are
the
the
Professional
Professional
Lovers.
And things are heating up a little bit.
Yes.
Although tonight's episode, we have a little bit more relaxed downtime between folk.
A relationship activity.
Yeah, that seemed to really kind of chill everybody out. But, there's still things to talk about.
Of course.
Tonight, they got questions. Everybody got a card of questions from the experts about falling in love. What will it take for you to fall in love? And have you ever been in love before? And how will you fall in love? And I take issue with that word fall. Falling in love. We're going to talk about that though. So that's a central theme. And feelings seem to be a central theme tonight.
Yeah.
And then listening was one couple's central theme, but that's a really good issue to talk about.
Oh, it's critical. It's critical.
So this whole idea of falling in love, we see our first couple, Brett and Ryan. Ryan having issues with that whole feeling thing, and Johnny having issues with the feeling thing, and anybody else? Anyway, yeah, those two particularly having issues with feelings. So Brett and Ryan, they were the first couple to be kind of profiled. Started off playing Jenga.
Yes.
And Brett did something really cute where she had, every time he was able to put a Jenga block up without making it fall, he pulled a card that described one thing that she liked about him.
Yeah, or her feelings about him. So
she was very affirming, and the more affirming she was, that the cards that he read, the more uncomfortable he got.
You think?
I think. Because he said, I can't do the same thing. Like, I'm not feeling the spark, and I'm waiting on the feeling.
Yeah. I don't know. I think in whatever his past relationships were, they were different types of, I don't know, maybe different types of women or different activities, or there's just something that to me, I think there's something that he's not comprehending about this particular relationship, that, she's there for a reason, and they seem to work well together, although his wry humor still messes with me a little bit.
Yeah, but he's getting a little bit more and more distant.
Yeah, right. He's becoming a little, I don't know.
Well, it's interesting that when they did flashbacks to his sister talking about his sister or girlfriend, I think it was his sister.
I think, yeah.
I'm talking about how fast he falls in love.
Yeah.
And then when
24 hours. When
Brett asked him, have you ever been in love? And he said he wasn't sure.
Did he? I thought he said twice.
No, he said he wasn't sure if he had been in love before. She said she'd been in love twice, and she was sure. He said he was not sure.
I remember her responding to her sure.
Exactly. Okay. And he did say that there were a couple of times.
Oh, his delayed response to
or connection
what could have been,
feeling.
Yeah.
That it was too late.
Maybe it caused it to be too late.
Which gave her red flags, because that's what's happening to her right now.
Yeah, she's definitely feeling a delay. I mean, she's ready to respond to whatever his proactiveness would be. But evidently there is absolutely none.
So he's not feeling any connection, and he's waiting for this spark to happen so that he can feel something for Brett that he's not feeling at this time. So now let's just we're gonna go over to
And
the
see,
last couple.
let me just premise this. We're dealing with grown people, grown folks.
Grown.
In their, is everybody in their 30s?
Maybe, I don't know if
Michaela
Zach
and Jack.
is.
Michaela and Zach, maybe.
But everybody else
is in their 30s.
Yeah.
So this thing about feelings, I think we should be a little bit, not to say that you don't have feelings for a person or that you shouldn't have feelings for a person, but there comes a time where you just decide on what you're
jumping the gun. You're jumping the gun. You're jumping the gun. Wait a minute.
I'm gonna empty out the whole gun on everybody.
Let's bring in Johnny, who started off saying the same kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not feeling the spark. I need you to make me feel. I need feelings, and I need you to make me feel what I need to feel in order to want to be with you.
It's your feelings. Feel that way.
Okay, so obviously, this whole love and feeling thing is a common misconception.
Okay, continue.
Because many people base their choices on how the person makes them feel. And it's not anyone else's responsibility to make you feel any kind of way.
Exactly.
Now, that's not to say that you don't.
No,
like you said.
It's not to say that you don't feel a certain way when you're within someone's company. And you should feel pleasant. You should feel like you want to be in that person's company.
Yes.
But it's not their job to make you feel that way. You feel that way because of who they are.
And when you're in a dating situation, you have the luxury of time to have that happen if it doesn't happen immediately.
Or bail.
But that's not what you base a marriage on.
No.
And these folk are married.
Yeah. At this point, just like anything in marriage, well, anything, it comes down to deciding to do or not to do.
Now, this is where I agree with Mirla. Go figure. I agree with Mirla.
Please explain.
When she said that it's a decision. Loving is a decision that you make. You decide to love a person. You choose to love a person because of what you believe they're bringing to your life.
True. And
what you see them bringing to your life, what you can see them bringing to your life, not how they're making you feel.
Yeah.
That's a byproduct of.
And that's exactly why I believe connection. I mentioned it last week, that I thought that she might be waiting on the 8 months to see exactly how we get to that point. And if we're at that point, I'm all in. That's an abstract way of looking at it, but I think if she can get past the 8 weeks, she is all in. I really do kind of feel that way. Until today, I see a little chink in the armor where when they went to dinner.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you guys. We're kind of jumping all around the place this time.
And it's on me.
It's okay.
It's on me. And
yeah, but they went to dinner and he said he wanted to feel wanted.
Yeah. Which I think is justifiable. You know, he's been putting in whatever effort to make it as pleasant and peaceful and
massaged
amenable.
Her feet, y'all.
Yeah, I mean,
and she couldn't really give him any props for that.
Probably one of the few ways he could touch her, without it being, something offensive or whatever the case may be, whatever her guidelines are. But I mean, I think that when he asked, what is it you want me to be? Or something along those lines.
No, they were talking about, she was talking about wanting him to be her brunch husband.
Yeah. But then he asked
for them to go out.
He asked the question after that.
About, do you want me just to be
a silhouette
here? Or do you want me for me?
And she
I
came
need
up
to
with the
feel
same
wanted.
response, and that kind of
I
that
want you to
really
be my brunch husband.
that bugged me. That bugged me because I think to me that was a very genuine question on his part, and he wanted to know a genuine answer. And if that's as genuine as she was going to get, that's a problem.
Well, it kind of bugged him too because you could see it in his face.
Yeah, that's a disappointment. Okay,
Yeah.
after every, I'm just be honest and be frank with me. I mean, and if that's the amount of honesty that you're willing to give me, that you just want me to be a brunch husband, I mean, he's looking for some substance. He's trying his darndest to
Pull
just
it out of her.
get some substance, something that he can hold on to.
Right.
Since
Some
he
hope.
can't hold on to her.
Some hope.
Yeah.
She's not giving him much hope.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate.
It is.
It's unfortunate.
It is. So, I mean,
because he mentioned it, and it came down to what most women would love.
And it's interesting that
which is quality time.
True. And I was going to say, it's interesting that she said in order for her to fall in love, she needs action instead of words. And she's giving him none.
Really? Exactly.
She's giving him no indication.
This is what you want, but you're not willing to give it.
Through actions that
would give him an indicator.
Him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry, I took us way off.
And he feels that he's on the road to love, but she's not giving him any encouragement by.
Well, he's trying to find actions. Out who would he be falling in love with?
Just like Ryan is not giving Brett any indication of where she is on his spectrum,
his radar. Yeah.
Other than him saying, I'm waiting for a spark to happen. Now, let's just wrap up this whole feeling thing. Johnny needing Bao to make him feel something, and Ryan waiting for the feeling to happen. All right, we're going to bring out our little trusty book here. Ta-da! Becoming a Professional Lover. So, one tip, our tip number 4, says that love is a commitment, not a feeling. Now, we know that they're not at love yet, right? But they're married. And the relationship in married is a commitment. If you base your marriage on a feeling, you're not going to last long. We would not have lasted 27 years if it were based on a feeling.
Yeah.
And when Mirla said that she needs to make sure that she's thinking about it clearly and not just depending on her heart, she's very right. Love should be
a decision,
an intelligent decision.
Right.
Along with the heart.
Very much so. If
it's just the heart,
it's going to lead you astray.
Because feelings fluctuate, and therefore feelings are not dependable.
The reason why most people get their heart broken is because they're not thinking things through. You're not thinking at all. You're just feeling. So why would a person not want to think through this process and know that the security, so to speak, is already done? You are locked. You're married. From this point, let's decide how we are going to make each other happy. And again, that starts off just by being other-centered and finding out what it is that you can do to please your partner. And that takes effort. That takes time. That takes, I think that thing you was talking about, listening.
Oh, that's next.
Yeah. All of that.
Yeah.
All of that. But I mean, from this point, due to the fact that you're already married, there is no flight situation. Yeah, you can get divorced at the end of 8 weeks. But what did you get into this for? I mean, just for the 8-week, spectacle? If you really got into this for the potential of finding your life mate, then why would you not want to make the decision that has already been preempted for you in many cases in finding a person that professionals feel is an appropriate person for you to
build a lifetime
relationship
marriage with. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And here's our last example of how feelings are so fleeting. So Johnny gets over his little initial, I need her to make me feel a certain way. They consummate the marriage. They're feeling good. They're feeling happy. 2 days of that. Then the third day, he puts a date together for them painting. And the fact that she gets so into the painting,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because now you've given me, this is not just games like, they did darts and stuff
Mm-hmm.
with her date. This is an actual activity that means something.
Right.
And she wants her
Do
painting
it right.
to look good,
Yeah.
and she wants it to match him. And he starts getting stressed because he thinks that she's getting stressed. Oh, no, she's not flirting with me. And oh, we're not having the same kind of tension, sexual tension, that we've had the past 2 days. And it starts to bum him out.
Which is
And that's
crazy.
Dumb.
Because looking at the finished product of what they did, to me, would be more romantic than anything that possibly could have been said.
So,
because I think it was a gorgeous picture.
He's all ready to be mad and throw in the towel because she's not making him feel a certain way while they're painting.
Yeah, he's looking at how he thinks she
should
feeling.
be, right, or how he thinks she should be feeling while she's
doing this event,
this painting.
He evidently is not realizing the significance of it in her mind.
Yeah.
Because he thinks it's just an activity. And evidently it's more than just an activity to her, because it's something that he thought of and put together. And he took the time to do it.
And so go ahead.
So she wants to do it to the best of her ability. And
when the picture is finished,
it's awesome.
They feel great together.
But he had to have his moment of
So, nix the whole feeling thing, people. Okay? And again, don't misunderstand us. We're not saying that you should not feel.
No.
Okay?
That's not it at all.
We're saying that you don't base your relationship on feeling. It's character. It's common values.
Yeah.
It's
principles.
It's principles as well as feeling.
But those three first items are a core and a foundation for anything to be built on. So.
Okay, so listening. Rachel and Jose brought that out. That was funny. So Rose, according to Bao. So Rose brought this issue out because Jose is a talker. And
I never realized it, but yes.
And one thing that Rachel brought up is that I love the fact that you talk a lot.
Yeah.
I won't complain about that, but you do need to listen.
Yeah. Because she may have some things to say too. And
of course, he, started out with, "Well, I'm a guy."
Well, but he prefaced it to say that that's not an excuse.
It is a cop-out.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And what does listening actually mean? And that's a tip. Number 25 in our book that says, listen 3 times to each other.
That's the topic. Listen 3 times.
And how do you actually effectively listen? Okay, one thing is that you don't react quickly to displays of frustration or anger, especially if the issue seems to be trivial. That's a problem that Zach and Michaela have. Just reacting. Yeah. Okay? Not jumping to defend yourself. Mm-hmm. Not thinking of how you can respond while the other person is talking, which is what Rachel said about Jose. Always thinking about his next answer or his next response to whatever it is, instead of actually listening to what she's saying. Okay, so these are just some of the few tips in here about listening, and that is key. Even if you're not necessarily a talker,
it gives you an opportunity to respond to what it is that's going on or taking place.
Or even to go deeper under the surface of what seems to be taking place and getting to the root of the problem. For instance, Michaela's issue under her quick knee-jerk reactions is the need for security.
Yeah.
And there are ways that Zach has acted that did not make her feel secure. So she lashes out.
Yeah, well, when disappearings. I mean, she has separation anxiety. I mean, her father died, unfortunately. And, that was the man that she, premised whatever her future was going to be about would be like that man. And first night when he disappeared, even though he was doing something and he was acting on certain things that he had heard, not liking to be woken and things like that. So he left, but he was going to do something. And when she woke up, he wasn't there. She and then she reacted as opposed to waiting to find out exactly what it is that was going on. Why did you leave? Why did you stay away so long? Whatever the case may be. But again, as opposed to reacting, you need to sometimes just, pump your brakes a little bit just so you can respond intelligently.
And appropriately.
Yeah.
Because her response was inappropriate. Now they began to work this out a little bit tonight, which was good to see. And Zach asked a really, really good question.
Yes.
He asked,
what can he do?
Yes, better. Yeah. Or what can I do differently to help you?
Okay, right. To make you feel more comfortable and, and not feel the way you feel. And again, that's the premise of being other-centered.
Right.
I'm willing to adjust, if you let me know exactly what it is you feel you need. And if I can't provide it, we'll have to come through some type of compromise. But if I know what it is that you feel you need, at least I can work on that. And I can let you know whether or not I can provide it or not. Or would we have to go in a different direction in trying to make you happy about the relationship and our communication styles or whatever it is that's causing us to have this issue.
And she agreed to try to verbalize what she needs and to hear him out. So we hope that will last, that will actually happen.
Yeah. They're young. They're the youngest couple out of them all.
Right.
And there is certain levels of immaturity,
in both.
And that just showed by their first occurrence.
Right.
But again, I think some of their storytelling or depictions, I really like Zach's reading the book. I want to read this book. I really, really want to read this book. But I keep getting stung by this bee. And I was wondering about that analogy. Are you calling her a bee? But that was just my thought.
No.
I know it wasn't, but it was ironic that he was being stung by a bee.
That never even crossed my mind.
I know it didn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, although her facial expressions kill me while he's talking, she's like, oh, what?
I'm wondering if that came across on her mind. You calling me a bee?
I don't know. But like I said, I'm glad that they have gotten that this week. They got to a place where they could feel comfortable with each other and you enjoy each other.
Yeah, there's cautious tension there, but at least they're pleasant with each other.
Right.
And the cooking situation was funny.
Yeah.
Wow. He's not spicy, and she can probably eat a bottle of cayenne.
And neither of them cook.
Ooh.
Yeah. So some classes would be good. Some more classes would be good. And even though we went kind of helter-skelter around the barn, we hit everything. So before we end, we like to address a comment or two from last week. And there was one comment that I thought was a good one from Venus Fox. We were talking about how everybody seemed to be looking at marriage from their own personal point of view of what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, and comparing it to situations that they're familiar with, and making a comparison. I mean, there are certain fundamentals, of what a union is supposed to be about and the elements that are part of it, but that relationship is always unique because of the two individuals being unique and what they both bring to the relationship.
And that's what she said. And I'm assuming it's a she.
Venus?
Yes.
I think
so. Instead of creating your idea of marriage from others you have witnessed, which is one tool, especially if you did not come from an environment where you had the example of a strong marriage, and you kind of look at other people. But she said they must be open to finding unique ways to making their marriage work. Right. And that's the key. They have to make their marriage work. And that means they have to do what works for
them,
the two in that marriage.
Right. They have to forge their own path together.
Right.
Because by following somebody else's path, there's no guarantee that she feels the same way that, who she's looking at is feeling, or the way she's even thinking, or he's thinking, or expectations of what, they look at a guy looking at another man do a certain thing, and he may not be capable of doing that, or he may not feel, like a guy could be romantic. And I mean, just like everybody has their different love languages, it's difficult to compare yourself to another couple if their love languages are totally different from yours. And you really won't know that.
Exactly. I was going to say, you don't know what their love languages are.
Exactly.
Right. And then thank you, Venus, for that. And I do want to end on the idea that Brett brought out when the couples all got together at the barbecue at Jose's house. And she said, and Pastor Cow said the same thing. And I think Dr. Pepper said basically the same thing. You don't just wait for feelings to come to you. In a situation like this, where you're already married, you have to act in certain ways that can promote feeling. That create the feeling. That's kind of what Bao and Johnny did.
A couple of them did.
Yeah.
In creating, a date night, or so to speak, in activities, and,
Michaela and Zach did the same thing.
Showing that they're listening, Bao knows that Johnny likes beer and chicken and darts. So she came up with a cute little game of, what did he call it? Nerf darts, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
As opposed to punching holes in the wall.
And so all of them have done certain things to try to create feeling. That's what Gil did with the foot massage. And so Brett needs to stop, just sitting back, waiting for feeling to come bite him in the butt, and start doing things.
Create it.
Because did he create any kind of date night scenario? I don't remember seeing that tonight. She did.
Right.
But he didn't.
Right. So, when it comes down to a relationship, you pretty much reap what you sow. What type of effort are you putting into the relationship? Are you aware of who your spouse is, or who your significant other is, and what their likes and dislikes are? And are you, creating a pleasant environment? Are you, tickling their interest? I mean, are you not making them happy, but are you doing things that allow them to display their happiness? Do you have a role to play in them staying happy?
All great questions and all food for thought as we leave you for this week. And we will see you next week. Until then, you know what we say. Stay safe. Peace.
Enjoy.